Hi everyone, it's Emily, and I have a very exciting package I'll be opening up from AmiAmi containing 2 scale figures that will be going up somewhere behind me in my bookcases. If you saw my last room tour, I do like to collect scale figures, especially of characters from my favorite franchises. So I have 2 here that I'll be opening up and then placing on the shelves behind me. So the box is humongous. I'll have a bigger or closer shot of it, but they are 2 fairly substantial figures, and I'm hoping I won't have any issues down the line when it comes to putting more figures onto these shelves. But let's get this open. My trusty X-Acto knife here. So I ordered these via EMS. One of these is a brand new figure that you might guess what it is based on what I have behind me. Another one I got off of the pre-owned section. Sometimes it makes sense to combine figures, so I think it was cheaper going this route than having them shipped separately. But sometimes AmiAmi shipping is expensive. I had this shipped via EMS, so it took about a little less than a week to get to me. So we have the special card. It looks like taped on the side there. And AmiAmi puts in all their orders. They have a new design, I think, every month. And I would say AmiAmi is on the slightly upper end when it comes to their shipping quotes and the prices. But I do think they're rather fair, and I haven't had any issues with them the few times I've ordered off their site. Everything is packed with paper. So the first figure here is Rixia Mao from the Trails series. I'm right now playing through Trails into Azure, where she plays a pretty pivotal role, I would say. So it's really nice to have her, and she's really large. Now this other figure I've been looking at and eyeing for a long time, and I finally scooped her up on the pre-owned section. She is Cosmos, her Xenoblade Chronicles 2 version. And this box is also massive. I'm trying to remember, yeah, so this is a B+ box, B grade figure. And I've ordered some B figures from AmiAmi before and have had no issues, so I'm sure she's gonna look flawless despite having a B grade, but I'll share that also in the unboxing. All right, so let's get a closer look at Rixia's box. So here she is in the window, and this is what the prototype photo looks like and the artwork she's based on, as well as the other side's window. This is a Kotobukiya figure, and they've been doing quite a number of these Trails figures. I keep wondering how many more of these are they going to do. But let's open Rixia here. And I really like the butterfly motif used with her chains on the inner boxwork. Very nice touch. And it looks like they taped her instructions on the bottom, which is interesting. They usually just leave it on the bottom rather than tape it. Pop her open. There's a lot of protective plastic, which is always nice to see. So there's no paint transfers on here. And she's already stuck on the base, which is nice. And it has that same butterfly chain motif. Okay, let's get the rest of this off of her. Tricky. So yeah, her head does pop off. I think there was an alternative if you ordered from the Kotobukiya store. Yeah, she goes right back on, and below her is where her other accessories are. All right. So it looks like her kind of coattails. It reminds me of Pyro's figure, actually. They have these little wedges you stick in the back. I got the first one on. Now for the second one. Let's see if this one's easier. Okay, that one popped in much easier. And finally, her humongous blade, which I really like the detail here. Here she is. I'll put some B-roll in here and talk more about her. So this is my little makeshift table, so we can see some of Rixia's finer details. And I really like the color choice they went with. It is more of a, I guess, a lilac purple, so it's a little bit softer than the more, I guess, dark or eggplant plum purple. That's used both in the artwork on the back here as well as the base, but I think it still really works, and it adds a nice contrast to the purpley blue tones in her hair, as well as her weapon there. And I think Kotobukiya has been doing a really great job at just creating very dynamic figures with a lot of movement. And even though she does take up quite a bit of space, especially with this massive blade there jutting out, I really like her pose. So here is her face, and she does have a rather plain expression, though I think it's fitting with how determined she is kind of wielding her blade there. All these little red strings are very bendable, so you have to be a little careful, I think, with these details, but it's nice how those are rather pliable. And her glove is also really cool. I like all the articulation they did on the fingers, and some simple engraving on the rest of it. And she does look rather scandalous here on the side view, and everything kind of laced up, but it's very fitting again with the portrait it was based off of. And I do like her hair as well, with the white bow and this piece kind of tied within it. The assembly with these two was interesting. It does add, again, more space that she takes up, but I do, again, like how it adds to the flow of her figure and how she's in movement. But if you look at her sword here, there's some really nice gradation and details. And I do like how her red strings are kind of laced and intertwined in the rest of her kind of armor suit. I always thought her shoes looked kind of funny in the drawings, but I do quite like them actually in the scale. And how pointed they are. Yeah, I think Kotobukiya did a great job. There's a lot of, I think, nice detail on her hair, and I haven't looked too closely at the paint, but I think all the intricate details, it seems very cleanly done, which I did notice on some of their previous figures. It could get a little sloppy, especially in the back, but I don't see really any flaws. And it was nice how she came all basically assembled. You just had to add the sword and the two kind of tail fins. And even with this massive sword, it is light enough where I don't think she really needs a supporting rod. So that's also really nice, especially if you have her on display. The next up, I'll be opening up Cosmos's 1x7 scale figure. This is Photo of one of her prototypes with the mask on. On the back here, you can see that this is with it lifted. And then photo of her backside and the top. And I did mention this is a B plus box, so I think it's just because of all the scratches here on the bottom. And then B grade figure. I don't need to remove any tape here. And this is a Good Smile figure, which is like Pyra's. I think Mithra's with Mega House under Good Smile. I think is how that worked. Yeah, there she is inside. And they have this gray pattern on the interior and the instructions. So it does look like this will have a bit more assembly. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, it doesn't come with all the protective plastic, which is usually what you see in used figures, so I'm surprised that's not here. All the tape, nothing too silly. Here's his box, and here she is. I guess this was, yeah, the one that they had on default. So I will show her with both mask options. But this is what she looks like right now. So she goes on like this. Put her arms on, which are carrying these bad boys. So these are very intricately detailed, very cool looking. So this should be her. Let's see which arm this is. It's a little hard to tell, isn't it? I think. Yeah, this must be her right arm. Thankfully slid in easily. Let's get her left. Alright, so I finally have her arms on. I'm going to stick one of her masks on and then show some closer B-roll. Here she is. Alright, so here is a closer look at Cosmos, and we are looking right now at this particular little headpiece, so we could see her eyes, and she does have quite the stare here. But it's very fitting, I think, for her character. And I think Good Smile has done a really good job with these Xenoblade Chronicles figures and just utilizing this pearlescent paint, and it's also kind of apparent in her hair as well. So for her hair, there's definitely this pearlescent sheen throughout the gradient we're seeing here. From the top of her head, which is more of that pearlescent kind of pearl blue tone, to the more translucent pieces at her ends. And I like her little kind of visor detail throughout her headwear here. It just looks really great. And I love the details of her spine. Very intricate and cool looking. As well as her outfit with her very kind of micro mini skirt there and bodysuit. And you even have the little text at the bottom there. Cosmos refrain stamped on her thighs. Check out her arm pieces. Again, very detailed with a lot of jutting out parts. It reminds me a lot of Melia's figure, actually, that had all those intricate details. And the black that they chose here isn't like a matte black. It has almost this purple quality to it that I think kind of softens everything. You see more of a black tone in her headpiece there. And check out these weapons. They are something to look at, and the core piece to really make this figure stand out. I always felt her shoes were kind of funny, but it is very true to the artwork that was used in the game. Kind of this like high heel, very robotic looking heel. And it just, I think, overall works with everything. Now, when it comes to her base, it is rather, I would say, standard, especially if you compare it to Mithra and Pyra's base. So I am curious how this differs from the base they're pairing with the Nia figure, which also is blue. But yeah, overall, I'm really happy to have her. I was really excited actually when I pulled her in the game. From what I hear, she is the more difficult one to pull since she is from Xenosaga and has that legacy. But definitely, I think one of the coolest blades you could pull in the game. All right, so this is what my current Trails shelf looks like. So I'm planning to add, let me show right here. Just to balance the shelf out a little bit more, and as I mentioned before, there are quite a number of Trails figures that will be added to the shelf at some point. I think the current plan is to have Crow right next to Reem, and then maybe put Renee towards the center and Faye next to Rixia, but we shall see. Yeah, I think Rixia looks great right here, right in front of all the pin boxes and next to the Nendoroid Petite figures. I did decide to go with the eyes covered forehead faceplate. That's mostly because I do like the cat ears that this one has. They stick out a little bit more than the previous one. And her red eye stare was a little bit strange. It's very fitting for her character, but I think I prefer this one the best. But Nia is my favorite character, so I could see myself pushing Cosmos a little bit in the back so that Nia could take front and center in the corner there. But that's everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this unboxing, and I'm really pleased with these two figures and adding them to my game shelves. As I mentioned in my last video where I shared my curated game shelf tour, I really do enjoy collecting figures from some of my favorite franchises. I feel like they just really enhance my curated shelves and really just becomes an extension of my gaming tastes. But space will always be a limitation for whatever you're collecting, whether it's scales or video games or anything else. So I don't anticipate ordering too many more figures. I do have my eye on a Fire Emblem figure, which I may or may not pull the trigger sometime soon. And then those other pre-orders that I mentioned that I'm anticipating sometime this year and leading into next year. So I think it'll be fun to kind of share how I rearrange those once they arrive, and I guess how my shelves will continue to shape over time. So until my next video, bye guys.